Out of continues, home of the beast.
You should cut off the ST part so it's like home of the bee.
Welcome to Out of Continues, episode 153. This is a weekly podcast in which we post every Monday on outofcontinues.com as an MP3 or on youtube.com/outofcontinues as a video a few days beforehand, in which we talk about video games and related topics. If this is your first time watching or listening to the show, I'm your host, Stafa. Each week I have different people on the show with me, and this week I have my brother, Ali.
Hi, guys.
How's it going, Ali?
I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'll be fine.
Yep, the weather's not looking too good at this point, but we'll see how things go. So anyways, this week's episode segments will include what have we been playing. After that, we have some quick announcements. Our main topic, we're going to basically we're going to have some fun and talk about what game franchises, we're going to make the scenario that we can purchase and own any gaming IP
and choose whoever to develop it.
Yes, any studio. After that, we got some news, and that's pretty much it. So, anyways, let's go to the first segment, which is what have you been playing? Ali, would you like to go first?
I've been playing Heroic Quest. Or I'm sorry,
Hero Siege.
That's not even... Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking Heroic Quest. Hero Siege. I even had it right in front of me. But yeah, Hero Siege. It's an Android game. I'm not sure if it's out on iOS or not. But yeah, I started playing. I had it suggested by a friend, and he was like, "Yeah, you could try it out, whatever." So I started playing it.
Is it free?
Yeah, it's free. They're in-app purchases, though. I'm not sure where exactly they, what they're for. Like, it's not like, in-app purchase for boosts or anything like that. Maybe I only have one level unlocked. I don't know if that's just me being bad or you have to purchase the other levels. So, but it's like an arena type game where imagine something like what is Smash TV or something like that?
Okay. So it's basically a dual stick shooter?
Yeah, a dual stick shooter type thing, but it's like dual stick melee
okay.
You have like different type of character classes, and they each have their own like special abilities and stats and that sort of thing. So you can level up and get different abilities to do and attack things with, and you collect money. I have no idea what the money's for. I don't know. I've no idea what it's for.
That's good to know.
I'm still learning everything. Like I collect money and I keep collecting money, and then I just die, and then I have to restart. It saves you like at the last, like the previous level or something like that. Like your last, or the last wave, I think. But yeah, every time you have to restart, you lose all that money, though. So I don't know what it's for. I don't know how like purchase anything, or I don't know. But it's pretty fun. It's kind of frustrating at times because Android controls and dual stick shooter doesn't work too well in my opinion. But it's a fun game, though.
Yeah, I personally, I feel like as far as touchscreen games go, I think the best games are like turn-based games, like either puzzle games or something that's turn-based. Unless it's an infinite runner, because it's doing the action for you. It's doing the running for you. So that's also works. But for the most part, I think like if a game is well, I guess tower defense games also work too.
Yeah.
Because you're placing things. You're not exactly.
It's more strategery.
Yes. No. No, no.
Strategery.
Okay, George W.
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 Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, if I had a controller to play this game, I think it might be a lot easier.
Don't you have a controller though? But it probably doesn't work for that game though.
It probably won't fit this screen
Okay.
because, like, my last phone, it was hardly fitting.
It fits on this. What is this?
Mine's bigger.
It's about the same size.
Well, I don't know. My last phone, it was like the edge of. I don't know. I don't know if I could try it.
All right.
The Moga. That was a regular Moga, right?
Yeah.
'Cause those are the ones. Okay.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's not much to it.
Me, I've been playing more of Shadow of Mordor.
But it says
Ooh.
game. This is game here.
More of Shadow of Mordor because I didn't know if I was gonna put something else if I thought maybe I'd play something last minute, but no, I've been playing Shadow of Mordor because that game's so awesome. Since the last time I was talking about it on this podcast, I got the branding ability, which makes it even more awesome because the branding ability basically allows you to take over the minds of the orcs and the Uruks. And so you start basically building your own army. And it adds another level of depth to the game. And that's, it's an already fun game before the branding. But the branding it's like, the cherry on top. It makes it even better. It's just really cool. Like with the Nemesis system in place, with the orcs pretty much, remembering what you've been doing and all that stuff. It's really cool that they even realize the ones that are not branded. Yeah. They realize that you are like mind controlling the other ones. And so for one instance, I had two bodyguards of a war chief. Like you have captains and war chiefs, and the captains can be bodyguards of the war chiefs. Yeah. And I had two captains. They're bodyguards for one war chief. I had them both branded, and when you brand them, you can give them commands to either okay, I want you to become initiate as a bodyguard for this war chief, or since you're a captain and this other guy's a captain, I want you to have a feud with each other. So I had this one bodyguard captain. I had him betray his war chief. And so the mission for me to, once I started the mission, it was basically out in the middle of nowhere. And the war chief is being met up by his bodyguard, and the other one's just off to the side. He's still with him, but he's just a little off to the side, standing there. And the war chief is like, hey, why'd you tell me to come here out in the middle of nowhere with no one else? And the captain that I have mind controlled, he was like, oh, I got a new plan that would be really great. Oh yeah, it's to kill you. What? So then they start fighting each other, and I come in, and he's like, I knew you were behind this. And so at that point, when the three of us start fighting, I do the command that brings all the orcs that I control to help me. So the other one, who was off to the side, he starts helping as well, and I easily take out this war chief. There's multiple ways to take out somebody. You can do an execution move, in Batman when it says press Y and B at the same time. Yeah. Or if you get them low enough, you can grab them and then mind control them or do whatever. I basically just beat the crap out of him until he basically got on his knees. And this part, I just loved it. Basically he got on his knees and he was like, I weep not for myself, but for the Uruk that you have controlled and had them slaughter each other, and something along those lines.
And then he took
And
his head off.
and then like I was like, oh man, that's deep. I have become the greater evil.
What?
Like he pointed out how just how evil I've become because I've basically taken away. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like I want to use the word humanity, but they're orcs, so they don't have they're not human. But like orcmanity. I've essentially taken away the humanity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've basically made these into my mindless slaves and took away their free will. So therefore, I am like a greater evil than they are. And it's like, man, oh well. I guess I'm branding you too.
Why kill them when you can brand them all?
Yeah. I mean, like I have like. In the second map, there's two maps. I haven't gone back to the first map. I think there's no once you get to the second map, there's no need to go back to the first map, but you can to just finish off the side missions you haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't gone back to the first map at all. But in the second map, I basically have all but 2 of the captains branded, and I have all the war chiefs branded. And
yeah, buddy.
it's just so cool. I'm just having a lot of fun with it. I mean, I do have Borderlands the pre-sequel because my friend Nick gave it to me because he likes to buy
the group packs or something.
No, he likes to buy video cards.
Oh, okay. Oh, and it came with it. Okay.
Yeah, it came with a video card. And he doesn't like to play anything except for Counter-Strike.
And he buys video cards.
Yes, he keeps buying new video cards just to keep playing Counter-Strike.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
That game's not even like graphically like intensive. That's like CPU intensive.
He mainly plays he doesn't play Counter-Strike Go. He mainly plays the old Counter-Strike.
The old one or the old one?
I don't know, one of the old ones.
Because there's 1.6, which is like from 1999.
Probably that one.
I feel like mostly Russians only play that now. I don't know though. I don't know how the.
I don't know. I don't think it's
sources.
I don't think it's source. I don't know.
So why is he? You could run like.
It doesn't matter. He gave me Borderlands pre-sequel.
You don't need that.
So, like, I'll get around to Borderlands soon because I'm in Shadow Mordor. I am 19 out of 20 story missions complete. So, I should be wrapping it up soon, and I'll get to Borderlands. Cool. But I mean, Shadow Mordor so far, favorite game of the year. Even if it ends poorly, like if there's if the ending's not great, I'm still probably gonna be really happy with the game because the actual narrative of the game isn't all that great to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
It's the gameplay stories that are just so cool. Just these little scenarios that happen just to me, and you're gonna have whenever you get around to playing the game, you're gonna have your own little scenarios that only happen to you, and I think that is a much more personalized experience, and that's just really fun. So let's move on.
Moving on.
Let's talk about DreamHost real quick. Because DreamHost, they're a web service. They offer unlimited storage, unlimited bandwidth, user-friendly interface. They are also optimized to use content managers such as WordPress, which I use on outofcontinuous.com, and Content 5, which is another content manager that I use on my other websites. and many more features. All that just for $8.95 US a month. If you use the promo code OutOfContinues, that is one word, no spaces, it will waive the setup fee and get you a free domain registration. So it's a pretty sweet deal. You can do a lot with your own domain and hosting.
Yep.
You can do more than just start your own site, but use as storage as well.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on. Let's get to announcements real quick. We can use more iTunes reviews. If you want to help out the show, please leave an iTunes review. It's one of the single most helpful things you can do for the show, because basically Apple looks at the reviews on a week-by-week basis, and if a podcast does not get any reviews, on X week,
it's ranked lower than podcasts with 1-star reviews.
Yes.
So
yeah, definitely. So if you haven't left an iTunes review, please leave one. It would really help us out. If you have already left one, or if for some reason you cannot leave an iTunes review, you can help us out by sharing the podcast on Twitter, Facebook,
yeah.
Tumblr, whatever. Really appreciate it. As I mentioned last week, the RSS feed has been reduced to the latest 100 podcasts. So basically,
just make it more optimized and
yes. So the
speed up the process.
First 53 have been removed. WordPress suggests it should be 15. Because that would be a lot faster, but I don't know, maybe in the future I might knock it down again to like the latest 50. But right now it's just the latest 100, and just to make things a little faster. And if you want to get to the podcasts that are older than the latest 100, which you probably don't want to anyways, it's just go to outofcontinues.com, and there's an archive. Also, let's as I mentioned last week, I started a new podcast reviewing the CW's The Flash and Arrow series. You can find those at outofcontinues.com/TV podcasts. Or if you go to outofcontinues.com, you'll see a little link on the right side. It says TV podcast, and it has a little icon of a TV. You can click on that. In fact, let me share the screen real quick and show you this. Where we go? There it is. Share. So you got this website. Looks just like this. But you'll probably see the new episodes, which I'll be recording today. So by the time that this MP3 goes up, the new recordings for The Flash Season 1, Episode 2, and Arrow Season 3, Episode 2 will be up. Eric and I will, do our reviews on those episodes, and yeah. So
isn't the Arrow on Netflix? I keep saying, I think
Arrow is the old season 1 and 2 on Netflix.
Okay.
If you want to watch Arrow Season 3 or The Flash, you can go to CW.com, and the new episodes are up there now.
Does it come the day of or the day after?
The day after.
Okay.
They only keep up the latest 5 episodes.
Okay.
So if you want to catch up on those shows, you can. You definitely. You got ways to watch them. If you wait too long, though, they're gonna go away. So, latest 5 episodes are up on CW.com. And what else we got here?
Steam Curator.
Yeah, we got the Steam Curator, which here we go. I haven't added any new recommendations since the last time, but just want to give a reminder. I got a Steam Curator page. The link will be in the show notes. I will be I'll try to add some new recommendations each week as far as games I think are worth checking out. And yeah,
Cool.
Just subscribe to that. Follow it. We got 4 followers right now. One being me.
I think that's 3 more than last time, though, right? Because that last time you just had 1.
No, I had Adam and Kevin.
Oh, okay.
So let me
Stop screen share.
Stop screen share. Here we go.
Yeah, we're back.
All right. So let me get back to my notes real quick. Boom. That seems to be it as far as announcements. So let's talk about our main topic.
I forgot to change the title. I put the thing underneath, though.
Okay.
Because originally you wanted franchises like
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah. So anyways, so basically, these past couple weeks I've been trying to keep more fun discussions, things just a little bit more creative than usual, and keeping things more fun and positive. So
creative. Who's creative?
Your face is creative.
Thank you.
So anyways, this week I decided we're basically going to put ourselves into the imaginary scenario that we can buy off any IP and be like, okay, this studio is going to work on this game. And how many games did you got on your list?
I only have like 2.
Only 2? Oh,
Yeah.
I got a much bigger list than you. So I'll go first then.
Okay.
You know what? I bet this game is probably on your list too.
What is it?
It's Tribes.
Actually, no. I don't know why I didn't think of that.
Oh.
But who would you want to develop?
I thought about this for a while, and
'Cause I'm not sure who could do that.
I thought about, first of all, you want to get it out of the hands of Hi-Rez ASAP. That would be the first mission.
Yep.
So now Tribes is in my hands, and I thought about who would be the best to make a solid Tribes game.
I think I have an idea.
I thought about it. I don't think a small studio would be good because they would make the game with microtransactions and also some type of leveling up system, which I don't. That's not what Tribes is about.
Tribes is all about balance out from the get-go.
Yeah, so that marks off basically every smaller studio because they would need to make the game.
They'd have to throw something in there to make it.
Yeah. That also marks off like Infinity Ward and Respawn and DICE, because the games that they make have.
I wouldn't want them to touch it anyway.
They have like leveling up systems,
unlock systems.
Yeah. So the one studio that I thought of that can probably pull it off would be Epic. I think Epic can probably do it because for the most part their multiplayer games, you have everything from the get-go.
Yeah.
They make pretty solid multiplayer games. Like their maps are very good.
Mod support.
Yeah, mod support. They have the budget to make it a very solid game.
Mm-hmm.
And they've already had games that have vehicles and like rocket jumping and stuff like that. Nothing with
some of the mechanics.
None of the jetpacks or skiing though, but they, I think for the most part they can probably make a solid Tribes game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's a good choice. I was thinking like Starbreeze or something like that.
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Starbreeze has not made a good multiplayer game.
Okay.
Like I think Starbreeze's strong point is single player.
True.
and
'Cause
they've
yeah.
attempted multiplayer with Riddick. It was terrible.
That was a multiplayer Riddick.
In Dark Athena,
Dark Athena. Oh.
there was a it was pretty bad. Because I mean, like, I remember, like, Vin Diesel himself was in interviews. He was like making a point as to how he begged them, okay, this new one needs to have a multiplayer, and it's gonna be so cool, and da 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 da. And like, one of the modes was kind of, I mean, it was kind of like Quake. It was run and gun.
Oh.
It was okay. It was like an okay version of Quake. And then you have this other mode where one player is Riddick and the other players are mercenaries, and basically whoever gets to kill Riddick becomes Riddick in the next round.
What about Monolith?
Monolith.
They have experience in a lot of different areas. I mean, they had games like Fear, you know, first person shooter. They could create environments.
But what about the multiplayer? Like, how good in multiplayer are they?
Well, Fear was excellent. That had amazing multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the balance was really well done. The level design was great. I mean, they would just have to go from, I mean, that was more close quarter type gameplay because it took place in buildings most of the time. But I mean, they have experience with like third person and also like larger environments and single player. They could just take what they've learned and apply that. I mean, what they would need to learn how to do though is use like these different type of weapon systems, because Fear is more conventional.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were lasers and stuff like that, but you know, that's not not the same style as,
I mean, like, when I was thinking about who I would give Tribes to, for a moment I even fancied the thought of Bungie, because Bungie,
no.
well, they, like, part of the inspiration of Halo was Tribes.
Yeah. Was it? Did
Yes.
they say that?
Yes.
Oh.
Part of the inspiration was Tribes.
I don't think they could do that in this day and age, though. Like, I mean,
But I went with Epic.
Yeah.
I think Epic would probably be the best choice for Tribes.
That probably would be a very good choice.
You want to go for one, or should I do another one since you only got two?
Go for another one.
All right.
Maybe I could think of more.
Okay, so Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalkers is a broken franchise. Like, each year they come up with a new game, make some improvements, break it some more. and this year, like, they decided, okay, we're gonna finally give the fans what they want, which is building your own decks, but we're gonna like break the game even more other than that. So I had to think about who would be able to like make a good Magic game, and I think like I was trying to think of like studios that did strategy games, and I figured probably Firaxis, but not their B team, like the one that made XCOM, because Magic would probably be as broken, if not even more broken. Yep. So I'd give it to the A team for Firaxis, the one that makes Civ, and yeah, make us a solid Magic the Gathering game that works. No. Well, you know.
No, I was just. I think it would work. It's just. I just think it's funny that you're so stuck up on wanting a Magic game.
I like Magic.
It is. I mean, it's good.
It's just so frustrating because the game's broken, and like they keep on breaking it more, and they keep on making it worse. I just want to get it out of the hands of Stainless, because the more I see from Stainless, the more I don't like Stainless. Like Carmageddon. Yeah. That game is stupid.
Yeah.
I regret helping kickstart that game. So yeah.
You know, I'll go ahead and do one, and
Yeah.
this is this is one that I thought of, but it's kind of weird because this developer works with okay, I'll just name the franchise first of all, Crash Bandicoot.
All right.
Okay, and I think I would choose.
Naughty Dog.
I do think Naughty Dog would be a good choice. I think they would know how to, make one. But I think Toys for Bob, which is the main developer for Skylander,
Mm-hmm.
would make a good game. And
I've never played the Skylander games.
I've actually played Skylander.
I've heard good things about it.
It's actually
like
really well made.
I met game developers, on my trips to these conferences and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and I've only heard good things about Skylanders.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I mean, it's well made, and it is targeted toward younger kids, but there are like harder moments in those games. A lot of people don't realize that. And Crash Bandicoot was like, oh, here's a kids game, but I mean, if you wanted to perfect it, that game was very difficult. But I mean, I originally wanted to think of Spyro, but that didn't make sense because Spyro, the last Spyro game was made by Toys for Bob.
Mm-hmm.
But so I ended up going with Crash Bandicoot, and I would like to see a new Crash Bandicoot.
I think it should go to Miyamoto.
No,
Miyamoto should make a Crash Bandicoot game. Come on.
isn't that what he's kind of doing right now already? You have a Mario that runs around. He spins.
Perfect.
He spins.
Plus the
the
camera angle is fixed.
Yeah, it fixed, and the levels are linear.
There you go.
Settled.
There we go. Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. See, I came up with the perfect.
Crash Bandicoot Brothers.
You want me to go now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I love Castlevania for a long time. Like
Which Castlevania? Like 2D or 3D?
2D.
Okay.
Well, I haven't played the new one, the Lords of Shadows.
Okay.
I've heard good things about the first Lords of Shadow.
Yeah.
But played Castlevania since the NES and been a huge fan since Symphony of the Night.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would like the Castlevania franchise. And I was thinking, I think Way Forward would make a really good Castlevania.
What have they made?
They pretty much make like all these remakes or what, basically if you need a 2D game, they'll make it. Like they did the Shantae, they had they did the Double Dragon Neon.
Oh, okay.
They did the Scrooge McDuck game, the DuckTales game, the remake.
Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah,
that's not even the same thing.
DuckTales.
DuckTales, yeah.
He's still Scrooge McDuck.
Well, Scrooge McDuck.
I had a brain fart. I couldn't think DuckTales.
Okay.
They made like this Batman Brave and the Bold game for the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
With like really good looking 2D sprites. I that's one of the main reasons why I chose Way Forward.
They know 2D design
because they have really good 2D design. I think they also did the Blood Rain, the 2D game.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did that too, which has really great looking 2D art. So, for the most part, like their games range from average to good. So I don't think they've done anything terrible, like nothing bad. Usually it's like their worst game is average. So I think if they had the budget and the time, I think they could make a pretty solid Castlevania game.
Mm-hmm.
If it weren't Way Forward, I was even thinking of the idea of possibly Drinkbox, but Drinkbox I mean, it was very questionable because they have they have a very specific style to their games.
very.
but
they love the vector art.
Yeah,
stuff.
but the newest game that they're working on looks really dark. Like it's still the same art style.
You talking about that touch game that they showed?
Yeah, the one
where you
with
like chop things up and whatever.
yeah, and like you play it looks like Berserk, the anime.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, the art is really interesting. I was
like they just have like, I mean, it reminded me of Berserk because of all the gross-looking demons,
Mhm.
and like the main character apparently gets her arm cut off wearing like some demon armor, and
they'd definitely have to. I think they'd have to change the art style even more, though. Probably go to pixel,
yeah,
or maybe do vector that looks like pixel somehow.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like,
But they have the Castlevania, the Metroidvania, like Guacamelee. That was
Yeah.
really well
they have the
done.
gameplay down. It's just the art style is
Yeah,
what made me not choose them.
yeah,
You know, I mean, even though that their newest game looks pretty dark, it's still not. It's not Castlevania though.
yeah.
It's so that's why I think Way Forward would probably make a really good 2D Castlevania, especially after seeing that Blood Rain game.
Mhm.
Like the art is, it looks like a Castlevania game.
hmm
So
I've got another one.
yo,
The franchise is Spider-Man. Developers is Sucker Punch. Think of it. They already make open world games. They have a good formula for a good base for like third person and like superhero style.
Mm-hmm.
They could do traversal. They would just have to implement, like swinging and whatnot instead of like electrocution flying or smoke flying or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the comic style down.
You know, I mean, the reason why I'm smiling is because one of my
Is that one of them?
No, I got something similar,
Oh, really?
but I can see, I could definitely see that, like especially like in the, I haven't played the newest Infamous, but in Infamous 2 there was like a tether move
Yeah.
that you can get.
Yeah.
So that's I mean, it's not quite web slinging, but it's
Well, they could. The thing is, like, they already have their traversal when it comes to the player.
Mhm.
They have like that Sly Cooper type, like magnetic, drop onto this thing instead of fall all the way down.
yeah.
So they could just like implement that for like, let's say that tether, make that the web. So
Yeah.
like I'm gonna smartly place my web over here,
Mm-hmm.
and then I could swing or whatever. So, and they would just, I think, I think the melee combat works well with that, and in the Infamous games, they do like the over the shoulder thing that kind of works with web shooting as well.
Mhm.
You know,
You know what game had a really solid swinging mechanic? It was the Bionic Commando game by Grin.
oh yeah, you told, yeah, I
Yeah,
remember,
it was very fun, but the rest of the game was stupid.
Yeah, you were talking about like the radioactive, like just fog walls,
Yes.
just blocking you from doing anything.
So since you mentioned that, the thing that I had similar to it, is Batman Beyond, and I know, I mean, this is kind of cheating because Batman Beyond's not a gaming franchise, but there was a Batman Beyond game for PlayStation 1,
Uh-huh.
and it was a crappy side-scrolling beat-em-up game.
Uh-huh.
But so it's like, okay, that's my justification as far as putting on this list.
Okay.
And I also really like the show Batman Beyond. I was thinking which studio I'd give it to, and it came down to either Rocksteady, which I know that's like a kind of a cop-out choice, and the other choice would be Sucker Punch because of the open world,
Yeah.
superhero powers. But I'm leaning more towards Rocksteady because the stealth aspect of Batman.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I really liked about Batman Beyond, that it kind of reminded me of Metal Gear, because at that time Metal Gear was also really big. You know, when
Yeah.
Batman Beyond came out, and you know, you have not only the stealth camouflage, but the character Terry himself. He didn't always he didn't throw the first punch.
Hmm.
Like he always tried to sneak around and like sabotage things before he actually threw the first punch.
Hmm.
Like, oh, this is their getaway vehicle. I'm going to put my cloak on and take this chain with a hook on the end and stick it on the axle of the vehicle so that once they try to drive off, it's going to like rip the
Rip
wheels
off,
off, you know. So, you know, stealth is a huge mechanic as far as Batman. So
I don't think Sucker Punch has really done that. I mean, they had Sly Cooper, but in Infamous they tried to do some stealth things, and I thought it didn't work.
And
well.
I even thought of maybe giving it to Monolith as well, because the Nemesis system would be so cool.
It's the Bat.
Yeah, but like I don't think it would work as well because I mean, like with the Uruks, it makes sense because like, okay, this randomly generated Uruk is now a war chief,
and they're plentiful and stuff like that.
You know, like it's a randomly generated character. You can't randomly generate a Batman character, a Batman villain. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's this random thug is gonna get upgraded to the Condiment King?
The Condiment King,
which that is a character.
Oh, is that really?
Yes, he was like in one episode of the animated series for like 2 seconds, and he had like a mustard and ketchup gun.
Oh my god!
And he eventually made it to the comics.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, so Nemesis system wouldn't work, but not only that, but the maps in Shadow of Mordor are really small, and I think you need a really big map for Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Because you have the flying cars, Batman himself, you know, not only uses the grappling hook, but like his jetpack as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be long.
The maps would have to be more vertically designed.
Yes, yeah, and also his flying can't be infinite either, because like he only uses it for like short distances in the cartoon, anyways. Because he has the grappling hook too.
Yeah.
So I mean, like if you can fly infinitely, then what would be the point of using the grappling hook?
Yep. And
you know, Rocksteady has a type of gliding mechanic in, you know, Arkham City.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Rocksteady should make a Batman Beyond game.
Cool.
Love Batman Beyond. You want to go?
Yeah. I'm going to do Test Drive. Evolution Studios.
Who's Evolution Studios?
Guys that did Drive Club, MotorStorm, that sort of thing.
Okay.
I think they could pull it off. I know.
Didn't Drive Club get really bad reception?
It was mostly knocked for lack of content, which, I mean, Evolution has said, like, the reason why they wanted a subscription at the beginning, and people were like, wait, why do I need to pay monthly, is because they wanted ongoing support to keep releasing things. So they had to revise their like DLC / content going forward. So like by the time the you know, the next 12 months are over, the game will have doubled in terms of cars, and they'll have,
and you can touch the leather.
I've got a really weird thing for cars. And they'll have a lot more tracks and that sort of thing. So, I mean, the game plays very well. So, like, everyone that, you know, like a lot of people that play it, they say it plays extremely well because the even though he's not directing the game, the director for Project Gotham Racing is on that team now.
Mm-hmm.
So like the driving mechanics and stuff like works really well and that sort of thing. And the track design is really well done. And they also have, instead of being open world like every other developer is doing now,
Mm-hmm.
they have those circuits and especially the point-to-point races,
Uh-huh.
which you know, a lot of older racing games had, like the original Need for Speed, you know. I'm talking about Road and Track presents the Need for Speed.
So why should they make a test drive game? Like I don't understand.
Because they have that, they have the knowledge of making a more arcade style game.
Well, what I'm asking is, I don't really understand what would be the difference between Drive Club and Test Drive.
Drive Club is more like PGR, which is more simcade, while Test Drive is more arcade. And there's a difference.
Okay.
I know you're not into racing games, but there is a difference.
Can I touch the leather?
No, you can't touch the leather. But like, because the older Test Drive games, you'd like start, it'd be like, you know, a race through, I don't know, let's say San Francisco or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And you would start at one end of, you know, the city and drive to the other end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like games just don't do that anymore. They don't have those like really well designed maps, point A to point B. Everything's either circuit or open world,
Mm-hmm.
which, you know, it's like there is, and with Drive Club, Evolution has showed that, you know, they could do that really well.
Mm-hmm.
And even with circuit tracks and Drive Club and MotorStorm, they show that they could do it very well. They have a lot of attention to detail, and like, it's that feeling of going someplace as opposed to just being, you know, confined to an area that a lot of games miss.
Vroom.
I know you don't like racing games.
All right. My next one on my list.
You have nothing to say about that.
Next one on my list. I would take Monday Night Combat
And
I would give it to a studio that knows how to break players into the game, which is Valve.
that'd probably work.
They can retain. First of all, they're good at retaining the humor and the style.
Mm-hmm.
They
could implement free to play.
Yeah, they can implement free to play. They would have all the characters unlocked from the get go. They can they retain the depth of the game. They would constantly update the game with new characters and like even community made maps and stuff like that, which is a huge problem with previous Monday Night Combat games, because they're like, okay, we're gonna release mod tools so you guys can make maps, and they never did.
Mm-hmm.
And so like both the games were stuck with like 5 maps.
5 maps, yep.
And yeah, playing the same 5 maps over and over.
So who would take Half-Life?
I actually have a solution for that.
Is that your next one?
Yeah. Half-Life would be taken over by Ubisoft, because not only will they release Half-Life 3, but the next year they'll have Half-Life 4, and then the year after that they'll have Half-Life Black Flag, and then the year after that they'll have Half-Life.
It's in the Half-Life Black Mesa.
Yeah, the Black Mesa, and then the next year they'll have 2 Half-Lives.
They could release
one on current gen, one on last gen.
They could release a game that will surely disappoint without having to wait 10 years.
Yes. Yes. So Ubisoft, they'll definitely know what to do with Half-Life. And then once you figure out that they don't know what they're doing with the story, they will make a Half-Life game that has absolutely no story because it's a simulation.
Yep. people trying to make the developer is going to be Valve.
Yes. Yes.
We're trying to make a video game.
Yeah, like you'll actually go to the Valve headquarters, and then you'll make an explosion that more aliens start coming through, and then G-Man will walk you out of the door. Be like, sorry, don't come back to Valve. Go to Ubisoft.
I'm done.
I'm done too.
Yeah, okay.
That's all I got on my list. So, that figured that would be a fun main topic. If the listeners, if you were given the choice to purchase any gaming IP and give it to any studio of your choice, which one would you pick? Let me know at podcast@outofcontinues.com. So let's go on to gaming news, and let me switch this over. Screen share over here. We're going to talk about the Hitman movie, which I didn't even know was a thing. This article is about the delay.
Yeah, they announced I thought last year or something.
Oh, I don't even know. I remember at one point they wanted Vin Diesel to play Hitman.
Oh.
And that was I don't know, like 2002, 2003, something like that.
I don't know. I don't feel like that would be. I don't think that would work, because when I think of Vin Diesel, I think of a guy that kicks butt and takes names. When Hitman, Agent 47, he's more, or whatever agent they might have. I don't know if it's going to be 47 or not. It's like calm, collected.
But the movie's called Hitman Agent 47.
Okay. Well, that's what I didn't know that. I just knew it was Hitman.
The picture of this dude that's playing him looks almost like he's Avatar: The Last Airbender, because his hairline is like an arrow.
Get out of here.
I don't really have much else to say other than this is new to me. What do you think about the movie itself, like the idea of a new movie? Because I saw the first movie and I didn't really care for it. It wasn't very good. Like, I didn't know what was going on. There, like him and three other agents like just met each other in a subway for no reason, and they all took these swords out of their jackets, and then they started sword fighting with these like mini ninja swords.
I think they could do Absolution, Hitman Absolution in movie form, and it would work.
Hitman Abs Solution.
Yes, Abs Solution.
Hitman 4-minute Abs Solution with Shanti.
47-minute Hitman 47 Abs Solution.
Starring Shanti. He's bald.
There you go.
There you go. I'm a genius. Just send me the check, Square Enix. Let's move on to the next article. Okay, so this week there was a trailer for a game that came out called Hatred. And Hatred got a lot of flack.
Hatred?
Yeah, a lot of hatred. Because, I mean, if you haven't seen the trailer, you can check it out. It's called Hatred. It's by a Polish studio called Destructive Creations. It's basically a simulator of a civilian massacre. Like, you're playing as this goth guy, black trench coat, long black hair. The game is stylized to be black and white. It looks, from the trailer, it looks like a top-down shooter almost, like from
like isometric sort of.
Yeah, an isometric view, which, I mean, like, I'm not too impressed by that.
I think the art is pretty stylized.
Yeah, I mean, it looks
like it's black and white, but like they put color on things of emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not the blood or anything. The blood is like just black, like,
But I mean, like, the main thing about this is that you're running around killing civilians and ill-equipped officers.
Mhm.
So you're this one man army going against like just people.
Yep.
And I mean, it got a lot of flack because basically, it is just random killing, and the CEO of the company says that he basically says that society is evolving to a more polite and politically correct culture, and that the CEO also says that he wants to create something against the trends to give the player a pure gaming pleasure.
Come with me.
Okay,
and
Willy
you'll
Wonka.
see
I mean, like, it's so in his eyes, killing people is a pleasure.
a
So that's
pure gaming pleasure.
so. All right, I'm not gonna like act like I don't play violent games. I mean, like, I love shooting people in the face as much as the next guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, me too. And I already know what you're gonna say, but this type of setting isn't. I don't know.
Where's the sport in killing people that are unarmed?
Well, the thing is, what I find interesting is that like I played Call of Duty. I think it was Modern Warfare 2 that had the mission, and he specifically mentions.
Yeah,
He says the mission "No Russian" is one of the best moments in Call of Duty.
yeah.
I had no problem doing that in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was used as like a plot device,
Mm-hmm.
just massacring a bunch of.
Well, it was also used as a what would I say? I guess promotional, or at least it was to create controversy.
Yeah, controversy.
Controversy to pretty much promote the game.
Well, I mean, it was used as a plot device, though. I mean, because at the end of the level, you're left. You're a double. Well, you act as a double agent, and you think that the Russians that you're working with don't know that, but they know. So they go on this killing rampage, and then they leave you there, an American, dead. So, I had no problem with that level, but this game, I don't know. I don't like. I think I'll have to give it a try to see.
I mean,
how I might react.
I mean, I'm not saying this is gonna be a terrible game. It might be the best game ever.
It looks honestly, it looks like a good game in my opinion. I like that top-down shooter type thing.
But the graphically it looks good and all that, but is the stuff that this guy is saying seems very weird,
Angsty.
Yeah, angsty. Oh, like he did mention that there's like hyper violence in the past, and that spark was present in Doom, Kingpin, and Postal, but it's now gone today.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also telling people, "Oh, don't worry, it's just a game."
Mm-hmm.
But one of the main criticisms is that people have against this game is that this is basically going to be used as like a scapegoat or something for politicians to point at and be like, "Hey, look,
yeah,
this violence is
that game caused Ebola."
Yeah, games caused Ebola. One thing,
is Ebola a country?
Yeah, Ebola is a country in
Ebola,
Sweden.
Ebola-stan.
Yeah. So okay, here's one thing to add on top of all this. So basically, from this website, FNO Video Games, which you'll see on the screen, it's the not F. Which I'm scrolling that off the screen. But anyways, so
it's
apparently
still in the URL.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so it seems that the dev team are a bunch of neo-Nazis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, like, it breaks down like a bunch of the people who work on this game. Like, for example, where'd it go?
So they are angsty.
Yeah.
They want their benevolent Third Reich.
Okay, in this photo of the development team, we can see that one of the developers wears a shirt depicting a controversial anti-communist military group, though the I don't know how to say that word. Guerrilla movement is remembered as heroes by the national institutions. They are also frequently lionized by right-wing politicians and activists in modern Poland. Another one of the team members, CEO and animator Jaroslaw, not even going to try to say his last name,
Zelensky.
has prominently displayed an endorsement on his public Facebook page of the Polska Liga Obrony, an established nationalist, Islamophobic, anti-immigration hate group. Gameplay designer Jacob Steichno is a supporter of the fascistic fascistic, yes.
Like
I don't even
political party.
Yeah, another political party, as well as the homophobic nationalist, another name that I'm not even gonna pronounce.
So they sound like a group of winners.
FX artist Marcin is also a supporter of said group, the homophobic group, and of several anti-social justice, anti-gay Facebook pages, and so I mean, like this goes on for a while. Like pretty much, the dev team are neo-Nazis. Epic themselves have distanced themselves from them and have told them to remove the Unreal logo from the game and all promotion of this game. So yeah, I mean, like,
Sounds good. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, this dude that you play is Islamophobic, homophobic, anti-immigration,
Anti-Anita Sarkeesian.
anti-Leonardo DiCaprio,
Anti-anything PC.
yep, anti-Mac as well.
Yep.
Not just PC, and anti-Xbox. So yeah, this is it makes more sense now.
Yeah, it does make more sense.
It makes more sense. Like they basically want to make you remember that one, the Columbine game? The Columbine high school shooting game that like got a bunch of,
was it like made an RPG Maker or something like that?
Something like that. They want to like take this further and just like make a shoot people sim for no reason because they hate people. So,
but they're shooting white people in the trailer.
Well, it's black and white, so
you're gonna be black or white regardless, huh?
Hey, I mean, those guys are. I mean, just because they're white doesn't mean they're not gay or something, or Muslim.
Yep.
Or a social justice warrior.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go.
What if it's another neo-Nazi?
Just he shouldn't have been next to that gay guy.
Exactly. he could have caught the gay, right?
Yep. Because that's how it works.
It is. Yeah. That's how it works.
Just like
right?
Ebola.
Yeah.
He caught the Ebola.
Yeah. You got.
Oh my god. We're gonna get in trouble with this. This is like, I mean, pretty much my thoughts. Like at first, I was thinking, okay, maybe they got like a point with this, or maybe there's some hidden meaning of life behind this. But like after like, you know, just reading more about it and seeing how they're neo-Nazis and all that, it pretty much shows that that's all that they're trying to do. They're obviously they're hateful people, and they want to express their hate through video games.
They want to be angsty.
Yeah. So
Moving
that's all I got. Unless you have something else to say.
Nope.
Hateful people making a game called Hatred. So let's move on.
Hey, they're just being honest, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's talk about our good friend Phil Spencer and the Xbox One's parity clause, in which they don't let like indie games release on the Xbox One unless it's on there unless it's released on there as the initial release. And basically what Phil Spencer says is that this parity clause is to make the Xbox owners feel first class.
okay, first of all, this is the same company that talked about tier 2 countries for their launch schedule.
They're first class also.
Secondly,
you never heard of tier 2 first class?
yeah, exactly. A tier 2 first class. I would like to get a tier 2 first class ticket to Los Angeles. Excuse me. Secondly, did they try to make people first class with that first class $4.99 pricing too?
Yeah. The more you pay for something, then the higher class you feel. Come on,
I mean,
dude.
especially after the whole debacle called PlayStation 3 and $5.99.
Mm-hmm.
You think they'd learn. Thirdly,
Yeah.
so if the Xbox owners are first class, what does that make the developers?
First class.
Tier 2 first class?
So okay, here's a quote that we got on here. So for me, the parity thing is, if you own an Xbox One, I want to work for you to make sure that when great content launches, it's coming to Xbox and another platform that you kind of get it at the same time everybody else does. I don't want somebody to come in and just think I'm going to go do a special game on one platform and then I'll get to Xbox whenever I get to it, because I don't think that's right. He's basically saying it's not right to develop a game on something and then
bring it to Xbox.
Yeah, then bring it to Xbox.
But by all means, have
but-
someone develop something for Xbox first, and then a couple
Yeah.
years later put it on other things. Because
I mean, this parity clause is for indie developers.
Yeah.
It's not like AAA. So keeping that in mind, a lot of there's a lot of these indie developers that are like 1-man, 2-man teams. I mean, like the Team Meat is a 2-man team.
No Man's Sky, I don't see that coming to Xbox One. That's a four-man team.
Yeah, like you have like these very very limited resources with these small teams, and they don't have the ability to they don't have the resources to release a game on multiple platforms at once. I mean, like,
It's not cheap.
Supergiant Games is like 16 people at this point.
Uh-huh.
They've grown to 16 people, and they were able to get the game Transistor to come out on PC and PS4.
Uh-huh.
So apparently it's not gonna come out on the Xbone because they
got X-boned by the parity clause.
Yeah. I mean, they said that they chose PlayStation 4 because Sony approached them
Uh-huh.
during the PAX East that we went to.
Yeah.
They played Transistor, and Sony was like, you know what, this is a really cool game. Let's help you out.
Yeah.
Let's make a deal. So that's why it came out on PlayStation 4. But you know, it's this you know, their game is not coming out on Xbox One because too bad, it's not right. You guys didn't make it for Xbox One first.
Yep.
It's
I think they should treat developers with respect.
yeah, it's really bad reasoning, and it's also like they're trying to strong arm
If
indie devs.
the thing is, like, there's no reason why the consumers and the developers can't be treated first class citizens.
Mhm.
You know, you don't have to, you know, treat someone else poorly to treat someone else better.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Well, you got to have your first tier first class, second tier first class, third tier first class, and then you get to
No, it's tier 1, tier 2,
Yeah.
and tier 3.
yeah, and then after
Japan
that,
was apparently tier 3.
and then you get the
No, China was tier 3 because that just came out.
and then you get to second class.
Then you get to
I don't know. Like, I mean, Phil Spencer himself has criticized the parity clause in the past, but it just seems like he's trying to damage control.
he is.
He realizes it's bad.
He honestly seems like a nice guy with good intentions.
Yeah, I mean,
And
like,
ever since he came into the role of like Xbox president, like things have turned around for the better.
yeah, he's been doing a lot of good for the company, but like
things need to change.
this is blatant damage control,
Yeah.
and I bet he probably regrets saying first class.
Yep.
It's just pretty bad. So let's move on to the next article. Capcom, they only want to make a sequel to a game if the game will sell 2 million copies. And yeah,
Maybe they should adjust their budget before they you know, blow it all and then like, oh, people didn't buy it. Well, okay.
well, like one of the in this article, one of the games that they mentioned is Darkstalkers, because there are Darkstalkers fans, even though Darkstalkers is basically Street Fighter but starring
Furries
furries.
Yep.
And
mummies randomly.
yep.
But
And but the thing is, Darkstalkers Resurrection, made by our friends at Iron Galaxy, did not sell well.
mhm.
But I don't really feel like that's a fair.
Darkstalkers is very niche.
Well, but like this, despite that, that's not really a fair calculation as far as what are the audience's interest level of Darkstalkers, because Darkstalkers Resurrection is basically the PlayStation Darkstalker
Yeah,
games.
yeah. It's not a new Darkstalkers
Yeah,
game.
it's a port of an old game. Like, yeah, you could say it's HD, but it's
HD.
It's pixelated. It's super huge pixels. Like you're gonna see like a pixel that's the size of your face.
My face is pretty big.
Yeah, that's a pretty big pixel. Though, I mean, I do agree with you. It is a very niche game franchise.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt it will sell less than Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom, even though the new Marvel vs. Capcom sucks. But yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I don't really blame Capcom too much as far as saying, hey, we'll only make a sequel if it sells 2 million copies, because they are making AAA games for the most part, and they are in a lot of financial trouble, and they can't take risks at this point. They have to make guaranteed, games that are guaranteed to sell.
They should check their budget then.
Yes.
Seriously, just
check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Exactly.
Too late, already wrecked.
Yep.
You got anything to add before I
Nope.
move on? All right.
So this next one, I think.
Next one. All right.
When did that come out? That
8 days.
article.
8 days ago. It says so right.
So I
there.
think more recently there was something else.
8 days. Okay. So for the listeners, basically there's a report that Google is a potential buyer for the Unity game engine. And I think this is very interesting. What's the news on that?
Let me find it.
Okay. Is it someone else is looking into it?
4 days ago, developonline.net says the Unity CTO said we have no plans to sell.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. So I guess nothing to say about that then.
Yep.
We'll move on. All right. The next article I got here. This is some amazing quotes by the Assassin's Creed Unity developers. Yep. We talk about the Unity game engine and transition to Assassin's Creed Unity. So that's a smooth transition.
Well, I did the Unity that Dave Chappelle does when he's pretending to be Rick James. Unity.
So anyway,
because a lot of cocaine had to be done to get some of these quotes.
yes, exactly. So man, I should have added the cocaine, the Xbox cocaine stories.
Wait, what?
You didn't hear about that?
No.
Like 4 guys were trying to smuggle cocaine, and they put it inside original Xboxes.
Hey, they're built like tanks.
And they got caught. So the unfortunate side of that news article is that we have an original Xbox that's never going to see the light of day again because it's going to be stuck in a in a police
what's it called? Evidence room.
Yeah, evidence room. So, anyways, Assassin's Creed Unity. Last week we talked about how they dumbed down the PS4 version to 900p 30 frames a second, and the CEO said it was something along the lines so people won't do the comparison and stuff.
There won't be debate and stuff.
Debate and stuff.
And stuff. Like
and
debates
stuff.
And stuff. That's what he said.
So we got even dumber quotes coming from the actual game developers. Not even the CEO. This is the game developers.
Here we go.
So basically, as far as the 90p, you know,
900.
Thank you. 900p rather than 1080p. The quote that we got from the creative director Alex Amancio, he says, "If the game looks gorgeous, who cares about the number? If the game looks gorgeous, who cares about the number? Why not just, release the game as a 720p or 480p?
Yeah, exactly.
480p
or let's go down to 360.
280. 280. I mean, if the game
400 by 280. Here we go.
Make it 8-bit. As long as it's gorgeous, who cares?
Last time they try to use the CPU, they try to say, like CPU limitation, that sort of thing, this and that. And like CPU would make sense if they were talking about not hitting 60 FPS. But the resolution is dependent entirely on the GPU because, the objects and stuff are scheduled on a CPU. But when it comes to actually drawing the render output, that's the GPU. So if they've got extra GPU, why can't they hit 1080p?
Now we got another quote.
Not get debates and stuff, right?
We got another quote from the level design director Nicholas Gurin. Yeah, that's probably it.
About 60 FPS.
Yeah, he talked about that 60 FPS. He says, "You don't gain much from it. It doesn't look like the real thing. It's a bit like the Hobbit movie. It looked really weird. And in other games, it's the same. Like the Ratchet and Clank series where it was dropped. So I think collectively in the video game industry, we're dropping the standard because it's hard to achieve. It's twice as hard as 30 FPS, and it's not really that great in terms of rendering quality of the picture and the image. So first of all, he mentioned dropping the standard. Since when was the standard for console? When was the standard 60 FPS? That's the standard that they should be getting to.
Yeah.
That should be what they should be getting to. It's been 30 FPS. So they're not dropping the standard. They're refusing to lift the standard.
Yeah.
Two, comparing it to a movie, which
Is 24.
yeah, the movie's standard is 24. The Hobbit was 48, which a lot of people were kind of weirded out by it because when you have 48 frames per second in a movie, it looks a lot more crisp and there's no motion blur and stuff like that. There's a huge difference between video games and movies because video games you control the character.
Yes.
You don't control the character in a movie.
Yep.
This is like basic stuff that you learn in animation period.
Yes.
Like I took a basic animation class and this is like the day one we learned that.
Yep.
That film is 24 frames a second and
Computer.
Games is like you want to achieve 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
You can 30 works, but you want to achieve 60.
He is right that it doesn't contribute to the graphical fidelity, but it does contribute to not only the performance, but it contributes to the, as you said, the latency of controlling the character. And man, what was I gonna say?
Like if you're controlling a character and there is latency in controlling the character, that creates a cognitive dissonance between you and your gameplay, which you don't notice that if you're watching somebody else play, but if you're playing yourself, you notice
push the button and you notice something lagging.
Yeah, you notice that. That's why there's an animation and in film and gameplay. There's that difference.
I remember what I was going to say. So they talk about, a 60 FPS not being important and like 30 FPS works is like, they're going to make the new standard 30. That's as he says, their standard never was 30. It was always below 30. And I think that is the biggest problem. Like I don't have a problem with 30 FPS games. I have a problem with quote unquote 30 FPS games that drop down to 20 or 15 or even 25.
When I played Assassin's Creed 3 on the PlayStation 3, I felt like it was dropping really low a lot.
And it makes you feel sick. It makes me feel sick. I know that.
It didn't make me feel sick, but it definitely felt like it looked very choppy and it looked like if
a game can stick to 30, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like at least if you want to talk like this, Ubisoft, get your games to 30. Get it to 30 and have it stay there.
With the developers saying these outrageous quotes, it makes me question whether they are actually dumb or if they are just feeding us BS.
Maybe it's both.
Like, do they actually believe the things that they're saying?
Yeah,
that's the thing I'm saying. Like, do they actually believe what they're saying, or are they just giving us some shenanigans and hoping that we're too dumb to realize?
I mean, I completely understand the trade-off. Like, it's either more rendering time, which means 30 FPS, or less rendering time and less graphics for 60 FPS, and for a fixed console or fixed machine like consoles, that is an issue. For PC, that is not. But they shouldn't be feeding us BS like it's not an issue at all, or like it's frustrating.
Yeah, come on, Ubisoft, come on,
get it together.
Yeah, like I was like all up like, man, maybe this Assassin's Creed Unity was going to be the game that I'd be, that would bring me back to Assassin's Creed. But with them saying these crazy things, it makes me be like, no, I'm gonna.
The thing is,
Step back.
you need to wait for modders to make the game look as it originally was advertised anyway. So just wait for it until it's like $30 or something, because it's not gonna look like that.
Let's move on.
Anyway,
we got this article here.
Yep.
PS4, Xbox One, and PC versions of Project Cars delayed to 2015. Was that even supposed to come out this year?
Yes, it was supposed to come out November. It's supposed to come out in November. So next month, yeah. But they said that it was a really busy holiday, and
Is that the official title of the game, Project Cars?
Yes.
Like that. Why didn't they like? That just sounds like
Project Natal.
Yeah, it's like a pending name.
Yeah, I mean that was the original title, and they stuck with it, probably because the focus is on the cars.
That is very uncreative.
It is.
That's like.
See, the thing is, they make good simulators, not good titles.
Like I was working on my game Beware the Bully, and for a while I was calling it Project Bully Game.
Should have kept it Project Bully Game.
And then
works for other developers, right?
And like Kevin was like, "Ooh, what are you calling a Project Bully Game in your presentation?" I'm like, because it's not. I didn't even start working on the game yet. So I eventually came up with the name Beware the Bully.
Yep.
You gotta have a placeholder for the project before you name it. Because the name isn't the most important thing.
Yep.
But I was working on a game in my game development group, student game development group. It was like a 5-man team, 2-week project, and one of the guys on the team, he's a bit special, and like the first thing he wanted to do was like make sure we had a name for the game, and we didn't have
an idea.
Like the only thing that we had was like game jam style. We had like a randomized theme to go with, which was 7. That was it. Just 7. The word 7. So he was like, oh, I got some ideas for the title of our game. I'm like,
it's like we don't know the mechanics. We don't
know anything. We haven't figured out the mechanics, the premise, the anything. Like we eventually decided to make a 7 samurai. Everybody crowds around one keyboard and fight each other. Because it was kind of inspired by Dive Kick.
Mm-hmm.
Dive Kick's only two
buttons. Yep.
Yeah, this was 2 buttons as well. It was spin around and attack. No, it was 1 button. It was 1 button. It was you hold down the attack button and you spin. And when you let go, you do a dash attack.
Mm-hmm.
So we beat Dive Kick because it was 1 button, 7 players. But he was like, I got plenty of ideas for the title of a game. I was like, let's hold on that idea,
let's make a game first.
Yeah,
let's make something. Let's make a premise, a setting.
But yeah, I just wanted to share that real quick.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to this article.
Yeah. So it seems like it's going to be delayed probably around to where the Wii U version was delayed as well. So they might all come out at the same time now.
Oh, so it's coming out at the same time as Wii University?
Wii University. Project Wii U.
Project Wii University.
Anyway, yeah. So it's supposed to come out Q1 2015. So
right.
that's when the Wii U version was delayed. So
moving on.
Yep, moving on. To another car game. Gran Turismo creator Kazunori Yamauchi, he talked about he was talking about his regrets with Gran Turismo 5 and 6 coming out, and all these different issues that he had. And he was talking about how hardware was a major limitation, but he promises that that's not the end of Gran Turismo 6, even though they are focusing on Gran Turismo 7. He said there are going to be major updates. But anyway, he said he was talking about how he said a lot of different things were cut: resolution, graphic designs, everything throughout the gameplay, the level of data that's been being handled, whether it was environment data or the car data. They're on a fantastically high level, but the PS3 isn't able to process it very well. He says, honestly speaking, the PS3 was really hard to develop on. There was just not enough memory in the hardware. We always had to fight with the amount of memory that we had available. And this is pretty consistent. In older interviews, he mentioned how in some respects, the PS2 was actually more powerful than the PS3 because the memory buffer in the PS2 was a lot higher than what the PS3 has. So, he talked about that, and I've and also.
So basically, 30 frames per second was an artistic choice.
It wasn't 30 FPS. It was 60 FPS with drops, though.
I think my joke just flew over your head.
Well, they're not Ubisoft, so. But and I mean, there is a documentary of like Gran Turismo and the creator. I think it's on Hulu, it's on YouTube, and some other things. But they talked about, like, they showed the amount of data that they calculate from like the tracks, because like all the tracks are laser scanned, and they have like even the trees surrounding the track laser scan and all that stuff. But you look at the game, and like the trees are like 2D sprites and stuff like that, and like even if you do like arcade mode, some like physics calculations, like damage, or just like the regular single player mode, damage isn't included because they have to remove the damage from the memory to include the AI vehicles. So, but he says they're still working on things for GT6, and they hope to achieve all that with Gran Turismo 7. So, vroom.
All right. So last article I have on here. This article basically, it's a very long article talking about gamers with disabilities, but it was written because of Bayonetta 2 came out, and it has the touchscreen controls, which I played Bayonetta 2 at E3 2 years ago, and the touchscreen controls were there, but I didn't even try them out because I was like, man, I know how to play an action game. Don't tell me to play the game with touch controls. I know what I'm doing. But one thing this article points out that I didn't even think about is that a disabled player can play this game completely with basically one button. It's not a button, but they can play through the entire game, which it has a deep and complex system that can be completely done with one touchscreen.
Yeah.
And I'm a supporter of able gamers. I have my able gamers shirt at home, and it was really cool when I had my booth at Indie PopCon. I had people play the game, and one disabled person came up to my game and played the game, and I didn't design the game in mind with for a disabled player, but it was just really cool seeing that this disabled guy was able to play the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had cerebral palsy or something. I didn't know how to ask without being rude.
Most common ones cerebral palsy.
But he was basically playing with his fingers rather than his thumbs.
Yeah.
And because
CP does cause. It is very difficult for CP patients to use their thumbs.
Yeah.
It's that grasping action.
Yeah.
That's very difficult.
So my game is basically left and right with the joystick and a button to jump.
Yeah.
So he was able to play the game because there's not much depth to it, and he said he had a lot of fun with it. He liked
That's
it.
good.
He seemed happy, and I was just really happy watching him play it.
Yeah.
Like I never even thought about a disabled person playing the game. So
Yeah.
it was really cool, and I think it's really cool that Platinum Games was able to make a game that can be complex for those who want to be complex, but is accessible to those who have difficulty.
And that's
playing
that's a
games.
real that's something that's missing these days. There are a lot of complex games, but there's no real way to make it accessible.
Yeah.
I mean, the easiest games that really do that are like racing games.
Mhm.
Like Forza. They've got automatic braking or automatic turning, or it's like brake assist and turn assist. So like
Yeah.
you don't have to be super good at it, but it'll help you along.
Unlike FIFA on PC, from what I understand, you can play that entire game with just a mouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh, that's interesting.
Like it won like the Able Gamers Award either last year or the year before that.
That's cool.
I think it was last year because you could play the game with one mouse and
Yeah.
one button on the mouse or two buttons on the mouse. I don't know, but either way,
Yeah.
it's very simple for disabled people to play.
Yeah.
So
what's actually cool is there's research that shows that video games and using their hands and stuff like that helps patients with cerebral palsy. It's like rehab in a sense.
mhm.
Because they're doing these like physical actions, or they might try to grasp the controller or something and do all these different things, and with practice like that actually helps get that type of rehab done. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Basically, I wanted to end our news segment with something positive, and we don't have much positive things to say about Nintendo on the show often, and we basically all of us on the show have said negative things about that controller, but here's at least one positive thing.
Yeah.
About it is that
it's not even a game designed by Nintendo.
Yeah,
they showed better gamepad controls than Nintendo has.
Yeah, I mean it's rather they decided rather than to try to figure out, okay, how can we use this touchscreen to augment the gameplay, instead augment the gameplay alongside the conventional controls. They thought, okay, how can we get get people to play the game in a more accessible manner? And they apparently they succeeded, and that's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So that is it.
Yep.
As far as our news, so let me stop screen share. We're back on the video, and we have no listener feedback this week. If you would like to write into the show, whether it's a question, some type of feedback, if you want to reply to this week's main topic, give us one of your own dream, IP purchases and give it to your dream studio. Or if you want to just straight up suggest a main topic for us to talk about, write into podcast@adamcontinues.com. We take, we read all emails we get, all because we get like one every month or so. And we'll definitely take your suggestions and consideration. Let's wrap up the show. As usual, I'd like to give a shout out to Nathan Becker, also known as Ectogemia. That's spelled ECTOGEMIA. That's facebook.com/Ectogemia, soundcloud.com/Ectogemia. He wrote the intro song version of this podcast. So if you're watching this on YouTube, unfortunately, you did not get the music. So that gives you incentive to subscribe to us on iTunes and get the MP3. Because you got this cool theme song in the beginning, and also the outro song is also by him, and it is a song from my game Beware the Bully. It's from the soundtrack. So if you enjoy that music, you can check him out at facebook.com/ectogemia. If you enjoy what you've been hearing, you can support us by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, leave an iTunes review. You can also contact us by email. That's podcast@outofcontinues.com. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/outofcontinues. All these can be found on the website. That's www.outofcontinues.com. You can find all those links on the right side of the screen.
Yeah, buddy.
You can give me a tweet. I am at Sayedstafa. That is at SAYEDSTAFA. Ali is.
I am at PHOSPHOR112, Phosphor 112.
I would like to thank my guest host for joining me today, Ali.
Yeah, buddy. You're welcome.
Yeah, boy. And with that said, I'm your host, Stafa. Peace out, everybody.
Beast out. Hatred. Peace.